Hello, I'm John the Squeezy. Tonight, on a very special episode of Legends of Laughter, a dingus is born as we take a look back at the legendary comedy California.wav and the creative team who brought it to life. From humble beginnings in sketch comedy to the Hollywood gold we know and love, we'll take a look inside the vault and see the never-before-seen rarities and projects that became the legendary film. Plus, we'll see the tears behind the laughter, learn of behind-the-scenes tensions and backstabbings that led to the collapse of the long-awaited California.wav sequel. We'll hear stories of production from the people who lived them. And we may just see them reunited tonight for the first time. So join me, John LeSqueezy, as Legends of Laughter takes a look at California.wav 10 years later.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Merci. I will be keeping my statement brief and will not be taking any questions. California.wav isn't a film.
California.wav n'est pas qu'un film.
It's a life. It's reality.
C'est la vie. C'est la réalité.
Gary and I, the film is the two of us.
Gary et moi, nous sommes le film.
It's not part of us.
Ce n'est pas qu'une part de nous.
It is us.
C'est notre ensemble.
The two are inseparable.
Les deux sont inséparables.
Yeah, I mean, for those of us who are not yet familiar with Cunningham and Kennedy's work, I mean, comedy studies was really mostly focused on the classical comedy canon, Punch and Judy, Why Did the Chicken Cross the Road, Who's on First, Gallagher. But California.wav, in that context, it really hit like a bolt of lightning from the sky, or whatever hit Building 7. So Gary and David met in 2007. It took a few years, though, for them to really develop a shared sensibility. But by 2010, they had thoroughly alienated everyone around them, and really the rest is history. I mean, from stealing Tim and Eric jokes to stealing Nathan Fielder jokes, they introduced a whole new comic ethos to the American comedy scene.
David and I, we weren't friends at the start. We just went to school together. There wasn't a lot to it. But I struggled a lot with socializing. I was deathly afraid of not being normal.
I have fond memories of those early days. Yeah, I couldn't quite tell you exactly how it all began, but I suppose Gary and I kind of bonded over a mutual disinterest in the educational aspects of our schooling.
How do I say, they were not scholars, exactly.
What they lacked in scholarship, they made up for in vision. Soon, the early video work of David and Gary caught the attention of the school. It would give them a fateful assignment that would change their lives forever.
our school needed a video for this charity event, and they tapped David and I because we were the only kids that knew what we were doing.
Yeah, they told us that humor might motivate the students, so we came up with a sort of loose, character-based pitch of things.
So we came up with the idea of this corny little weirdo, Jim Jam Erickson. He was supposed to be a guy running a local access TV show, basically. He makes this video, it's abysmal, garbage, but the administration of the school would love it. And it kind of just went from there.
A few days later, the student body was introduced to Jim Jam Erickson. Let's take a look.
My name is super hip and cool host, Jim. I have a really important announcement to tell you. It's about money and donations. If you're a student like me, then you've probably heard of Sharing and Caring Times. Now, the Sharing and Caring Times is an interesting topic. Some people don't quite know what it means, but I can tell you what it doesn't mean is it's not pizza.
Amazing. Turns out life imitates art because despite being an at times unintelligible ripoff, the video was an outstanding success. Soon, a second video was ordered. Merchandise was made and Jim Jam Erickson entered the popular imagination.
It's crazy that when you watch something like that, and David and I just knew what we wanted. Jim Jam came out of nothing, fully formed.
What strikes me about them is how primitive they all are. You know, the humor, the politics, the satirical elements. They're just not there yet. It's the germ of the idea is good, but we just hadn't grown it into anything yet.
Of course, Gary and David didn't do it alone. Enter Colin Stevens and Grant Muckler, the final pieces of the dingus-shaped puzzle.
You could say I was involved pretty early. I wasn't actually in the videos at first, but I was behind the scenes. I was producing, directing, you know, kind of coming up with the whole thing. Did we ever fight over control of the movie? Yeah, sometimes, but I think people knew who the real filmmaker was.
So after we graduated, we really kicked it into high gear. We saw a huge business opportunity with this Jim Jam stuff.
We felt really limited by the form. You know, Jim Jam makes videos, that's all fine and good, but, you know, we needed to get experimental with it, so that's where something like Wild.dll comes in.
Wild DLL was my first appearance on film. It's the first time we really got Jim out of the school setting and out into the real world.
We needed to figure out what was next for Jim. Obviously, he had to make videos, but what was bigger than that? What are the best videos? Movies.
You know, we didn't have the high-end cameras, but we did have a mission. You know, if Hollywood didn't want to come to us, then we would go to Hollywood. I'm not sure they were ready for that.
And go to Hollywood they did. Armed with small cameras and big dreams, the four Hitchcock hopefuls piled into Gary's 2011 Honda Accord and set off. Little did these Wes Anderson wannabes know that their journey would take them further than Los Angeles. It would take these aspiring Apitchapong Receptacles to their destinies.
Frankly, I have never worked on another project that came nearly as naturally as California.wav did to me.
So the real brilliance was in the script. You know, we were writing as we were driving, so there was times we were shooting scenes seconds after writing them. There was times where we were writing scenes after we shot them. And even though we were going so fast, the script was simply brilliant.
The script wasn't the only thing moving quickly. A 2011 Honda Accord can reach speeds of up to 115 miles per hour.
I'd have to say my favorite part of California.wav is the Kansas joke. But we came up with it too late. We were driving to California and we had already gone through Kansas. We had to film it in Colorado. But that's just how movies roll, at least my movies. As funny as California.wav is, it's not all jokes. We touched on a lot of really important themes, like Colin's dad.
The being trapped in the mall, there's several layers to that, I think. There was first off the being trapped in a marketing consumerist society that was very much encapsulated symbolically by that place. That's one layer of things. And then there was also, I think, an internal layer, personal layer, of me internalizing that reality, and you could see, you know, trying to escape from that kind of thing. So there's two layers right there. And then I think also the size of the mall, this huge mall, right, was, in a sense, it was a place that was no place. And to escape and to be able to be in this place, which is smaller. I mean, this is not nearly as big as a mall, but I am here, and I'm able to be present in this smaller place now. And so hopefully you can see those different layers, which I've tried to describe.
We did a lot of careful planning to make sure it went right on the first try.
Well, when they tried to film the destruction of my house and they blew it up, they actually weren't rolling the cameras, so they just blew my house up, and they destroyed my life.
Man, I don't know whose idea it was at first to blow up the house. I know Gary and I both tried. Mine's the one that worked. That's the one that made it into the credits.
Oof, yeah, we really did a number on the house. I wasn't there that day, of course, but I saw the pictures, and
Sometimes I feel a little bad, you know. That was Cortez's real house we destroyed. I heard he lives in a school now and he's not doing great, but you know, gotta do what you gotta do to get the shot.
There are a lot of benefits to living in the classroom. You know, I don't have to get up early. I hardly have to get up. I can get up like 2 minutes before class. I'm already in class. I really set my own schedule. I also have no bills at all. I mean, I don't have to pay for a phone bill. I don't have to pay for plumbing or rent. It's not really clear that anybody knows I live here or that I can live here, but I do.
But you know, that was the movie. I mean, we're really expanding this character. We're changing lives.
Okay, look, let's take this back to the beginning. California.wav, silly little movie, never had any real potential for money. But those boys used a lot of copyrighted music. Normally have to pay for that. Obviously, most people know this. Slipped their minds, I guess. Me? I went to those copyright holders, convinced them this was gonna make a lot of money. They paid me to have their music in that movie. Took that money, invested a few places, multiplied it. Obviously, no one else ever saw a cent of it. I'm not such a fool as to give away my hard-earned money.
Well, California.wav, the impact of that movie was profound for me. You see, back then I was just starting to break into a budding acting career. By the advice of a loved one, I decided to audition for the role of Willie Dynamite. There was only one line that my character had, but it was so profound. One word was all that was required for me to see the vast void before me. Yeah. Have you ever stopped to consider what yeah means to you? An affirmation, a expression of the ego? I said yeah, and I stared into a void that looked at me uncaring. And when I truly considered this, I had to pursue it, to pluck something from nothing. And so I left my acting career behind and pursued the knowledge of the greats, to enrich myself so that I might impart that enrichment to others. So to answer your question, no, I don't remember Gary and David at all.
Regardless of how memorable the production was or was not, on August 18th, 2014, at 4:05 p.m. according to the metadata, production wrapped on California.wav. With a release date set to August 21st, this gave the team only 3 days to edit an entire film.
Yeah, editing was intense. We weren't really watching it while we were filming it, but when we got in the edit room, I mean, there were some issues, focus problems, stuff like that. Overall, it was pretty good, but there were problems.
I kind of think we got caught up in the movie magic. It looked phenomenal, but it sounded awful.
The sound was a right nightmare. And we had to dub half the lines. And you have to keep in mind, this is 2014. We barely had computers, let alone sound equipment. I think that's where the problem started.
All right, ready?
Can you play it for me one more time?
Yeah, hold on, let me... All right, here's playback.
Okay, cool. I'm good.
Okay, cool. You don't want me to play it again?
No, let's go for it.
All right, this is gonna be take 27. And action.
Well, might have blown my car up along with GF and house.
Cut. Gary, the line is just, I blew it up.
Yeah, but this is a lot funnier.
It doesn't match your mouth.
That's okay. The audience is going to be laughing at the joke, so who cares if it matches the mouth?
But Gary, if we start changing all the lines now, it's not going to make sense in 2 days when we show it to an audience.
Okay, but we wouldn't have to even consider changing the lines at all if you didn't shoot it the way you did. The script
What do you mean the way I shot it?
The script was fine. It was really well written. It was funny. And then the way you filmed it, it's not. We lost the funny. We got to go find the funny again.
Gary, it's your performance. You're the one who's in front of the camera being this character, and you can't make it funny? How is it the camera's fault that you couldn't be funny on set?
For the same reason, it's out of focus half the time.
The script is good. Let's say the script.
Then let's reshoot the scene.
We have 15 minutes to get the next 20 scenes of this movie. Let's just do one take where we say the line right.
You get one more take, and then I'm getting out of here. I'm taking a break.
Fine.
I've been sitting here for
Fine.
3 hours.
No, I know. You think I'm like sitting in this booth?
All right, let's go. Come on,
Okay.
let's go.
Okay. This is take 28. Action.
Well, might have blown up my car along with GF and house.
Son of a bitch!
By the second day of editing, they were at each other's throats. I mean, and it was both of them. Changing lines, ad-libbing, adding stuff, doing edits. It took 10 tries to get that Kansas joke in there. At a certain point, I had to say, guys, either we have to get it together and get this thing done, and in theaters, give people what they paid for, or it's just not going to happen. And then that set them straight.
Straight to box office success. California.wav opened August 21st, 2014. Des Perez? De Pere Cinema in St. Louis, Missouri, to a sold-out audience.
God, the editing was awful, brutal experience. But it was legitimately worth it. Because when I saw myself and David up on the big screen, that was literal movie magic. That was literal magic. And I've never had that feeling again. I've been chasing that high my entire life.
Yeah, after California.wav premiered, Colin started leading the charge in terms of looking for distribution.
So I started setting up meetings with all the big studios, calling some old contacts. I said, listen, I'm one of you guys. It's all about the box office. It's all about the cash. And they like that. I speak their language. And I think they really saw something in us.
The studios said they wanted to take Jim global, which was great. That was the dream.
But sometimes dreams become bad dreams. The opportunities dried up just as quickly as they appeared, like a snot rocket on a sunny sidewalk.
The studios expressed interest, but they weren't interested in California.wav itself. They wanted to know what we were going to do next. Yeah, it gets frustrating when they spend the entire meeting telling you that you're so brilliant, you're so funny, and then they just say no at the end of the meeting. I think it's then that I started to foreclose on the possibility of honest artistic expression within the confines of the American culture industry.
It was due to egregious violations of copyright law, they said. I didn't fully get it, but to be honest, I suspect we might have been the first victims of cancel culture. I mean, this is aside from Pepe Le Pew and Jesus. Then there was us.
Without distribution, we didn't have anything. I mean, we had a 47-minute YouTube video that we couldn't even monetize, and you couldn't even watch it unless you lived in Azerbaijan. And I just sold my house there. Terrible investment. But it was funny, sure, but it had no reach.
We went back to the drawing board. We just started writing. Maybe if the studios didn't want California.wav, they'd be interested in Erickson.wmv, a more grounded, gritty reboot.
And right they did. 4 different scripts were developed, each more ambitious than the last. But as months turned to years, Tim Jam Erickson's star began to fade.
Yeah, Grant was the first one to jump ship. He said he couldn't wait around for projects forever. He said he was going to go work on an offshore oil rig or something. I don't know. I have my own theories, but do your own research is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, after they said no to putting out California.wav, they didn't know what they were going to do next. Me, though, I knew I was going to the rig. I did not want to pay those taxes. I wanted that money. I wanted to be on the rig. I was in my early 20s, already tired of the whole tax thing, wasn't really my speed. Thought, move out to the rig, it's international waters, they can't go after me out there. Only downside, I guess, is I can't go back to the land because IRS is gonna get me, but it's okay, I love it on the rig. Got a leak on pipe 5. I'm gonna send a tech out there.
I stayed on for a few months after that, but the scripts kept getting longer and more convoluted. There was one where Jim has to go save the auto industry, and I don't know, it kept getting further and further away from what made California.wav. And at a certain point, I was done. And they tried to get me to stay, but the lion doesn't concern itself with the opinion of sheep. So I went off into the crypto business, and it's been doing pretty well for me.
I guess it was done, We were just going in different directions. The scripts didn't make any sense. We lost the drive. We just had to move on.
Finito.
But so I sat here and I just kind of wondered, how was I gonna reinvent myself? Without Jim Jam, who was I? Here in LA, there's a lot of Starbucks. And I don't think Starbucks can take a joke. In fact, I don't know that they even know how to tell them there. When I asked for my drink, just a black coffee, red-blooded American, just like all y'all, I was told I needed to share some information. They usually ask for the name, but they are now asking for your pronouns. He, she, they. What do I look like? A multiple personality disorder? No! And the barista's like, you want some whipped cream on your mocha frappa cockerino? Chino? No! I want whiskey. I don't know that I can say this shit anymore. Am I allowed to say this, LA? The rest of my stand-up is getting pretty real. I might start talking about the gays. Stand-up was a huge outlet for me.
Well, before Gary started stand-up, the assumption was that comedy is supposed to make you laugh. But Gary really showed us that it's really about making you think. The most important part of a comedy show is when they stop playing nice and start getting real. I really believe that.
2018 was a prolific year for Gary, releasing 3 distinct comedy specials. His first received rave reviews. He followed that up with a tour of colleges and universities called Schooling the Youth. Students found his old school sensibilities offensive, disturbing, upsetting. But the at-home audiences loved it. Finally, Gary embarked on his most ambitious project to date.
What's poppin', San Bernardino County? We are in it tonight because I'm on stage and we ain't going nowhere fast. How many of y'all think that things are getting a little too sensitive today? Because I certainly do. I was at the store the other day and there was this little freakazoid with bright neon green hair, purple beard, and glitter everywhere. I did not get it. But then he started reaching for the protein powder, and that's something I do get. I mean, I work out a lot. So I said, hey, buddy, you probably need to also work out. Protein powder ain't a miracle pill. Hit the gym, bro. Smash the weights. Grind the gears, whatever. And he flips at me. He just loses his shit. I'm over here telling a joke, offering some genuine real-life advice. So here I am, really upset. No one can take a fucking joke in San Bernardino. I was in LA just recently. They can take a joke. Can you guys take a joke? Well, we'll find out because it's that time of the night where we talk about the gays.
Wow. Funny stuff. While Gary was making a splash in the stream of streaming, David pivoted from the movie studio to the art studio.
Yeah, without the pressure of the entertainment industry and the Hollywood system, I felt actually an immense freedom. I decided maybe I'd bring a fresh style to the world of contemporary art.
Bonjour, my name is Francine Lacroix, and I am the curator here at Kushner-Bezos Project. Today we are very excited to present to you Ideologies, the very first Los Angeles solo show presented by David Kennedy. We will start by seeing a bit of the work, and then we'll open up a talk with the artist. David, thank you so much for sharing your work with us today.
Thank you for having me, and thank you to Kushner-Bezos Projects for inviting work that many might consider quite challenging.
Of course. So tell me, what does this work mean to you?
Well, I can't quite speak to my own view of it because it is mine and mine alone. However, I can tell you what she thinks. I think that my work sometimes embodies something of a divine feminine.
Please do.
I think these works interrogate the dialectic between personhood and perception. They tackle the modality and the artifice of the constructed digital self-representation. Though you may observe that the subjects are perhaps robbed of their lens of critical viewership, that lens is found in this work over here. Here we see the lens itself isolated and robbed of its corporeal form. It seeks endlessly
to resolve the contradictions and find a synthesis, as do we all, truly. And that synthesis is perhaps found here, in the world of the constructed and the political. Though the materiality of this ideological construction is itself fleeting and fragile, despite the grip that it holds over us. I suppose in this regard, all of the work is bathing in its own contradictions. But it's much the same as the way that the data points of the internet and social media can be used both to uplift and enlighten the masses, as well as, and unfortunately these are the times we live in, I hate to say this, but plunge an entire nation into the darkness of desinformatia.
Intriguing stuff. So how do you choose the painted subjects of your work?
I'm very taken with the beauty and the diversity of the human body in all its forms, its shapes and sizes. I think there's quite a bit of beauty in that.
And do you think that your work fits more into an art historical context of a more contemporary turn towards the digital? Or is it perhaps more of a metamodernist reconstruction of a more traditional form in a decidedly contemporary context?
Yes.
Thank you. For the collectors in our audience, each painted piece is available at a starting price of $460,000. Be one of the first to own a piece of this incredibly challenging new show.
While David was bringing the art world to a fever pitch, Gary was preparing a very different kind of pitch.
This was a few years ago. I went to a comedy show and there was a new comedian playing, Gary Cunningham. I liked what I was hearing, so I thought maybe we should try to set up a meeting.
So I got an email from a producer, and she asked if I wanted to pitch a movie. You know, of course. I started digging around through all the old scripts. I had so much material to show.
A few days later, one of my many, many unpaid interns knocked on the door to my office. Normally, this would get a stapler thrown at your head, but this time she had something to show me. Gary Cunningham had already made a movie. This is how I got introduced to California.wav. It was a little scrappy, but I could see the potential. We set a date for the meeting and we waited. Later that night, my husband and I went to an art opening. We're big collectors.
Whew. As I recall, I was opening my second solo show, America the Beautiful, at Soiled Space. And at the reception, a woman approached me and introduced herself as Catherine. And she told me she had seen a very interesting film that morning called California.wav. Needless to say, I was shocked to hear that title again.
I invited David to join us for the meeting. Apparently they hadn't seen each other in a long time, and this was a reunion of sorts.
So they brought us in to do all these pitches. We were busting out everything from Dingus Does Detroit to Gyroscope Jim. Some ideas were better than others. But in the end, what we settled on was something new.
The idea was something that we had never thought of before. It was something really, really good.
It was just California.wav too.
I hadn't written like that since the original movie. The magic was back. We knew it was good. There were complications, of course. I mean, how are you supposed to make a hero out of a felon? Jim Jam went to prison at the end of the prior film. But we knew we had something.
We signed a contract, got a hotel room, sat down, and the thing basically wrote itself.
Words poured out of the duo like blood from the neck of a freshly slaughtered goat. Within 2 weeks, the script was finished.
Honestly, we kept the spirit of the original movie. It had all the heart. It was probably the best stuff we've ever written. So we took it to the studio and dropped it off. Catherine's calling me. This is probably big. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, no, I'm doing great. Just chilling, having a good time. Do we have any news? Oh. Well, what's up? Oh. Well, did you call David yet?
Oh, I see. All right then. No, you're right. It is different, but it's updated. It's just a newer, we took the old stuff and we just, we put that modern spin on it. Yeah. Yeah, it's different. It's very different.
Well, if it's a thing about money, I'm more than happy to work with you guys. Like, we can work on the script, we can do whatever. Like, we really want to make this movie work. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
No, I understand that. There's it's not just you. There's multiple other people on the above you there, and yeah, that. I totally understand. All right. Well, I look forward to working with you again too, someday. Yeah. No, I appreciate it. Okay. All right. Bye.
The project dead? I'm sorry, guys. I don't think we can pay you. I'm gonna take a step outside.
Fuck!
It was really hard, honestly. I've never really taken rejection well, but it's the way it was. We wrote the script and they didn't want it.
It was disappointing. I think when you make something or you do something and it doesn't turn out the way you wanted it to or the way you thought it would, maybe, it falls apart at the end, or you showed it to an audience, they didn't like it the way you liked it. I think there's this endless urge to go back and tweak things or fix things, or if I only had one more shot at it, I'd get it right this time. I'd tell the joke different, everyone would laugh. I think maybe the right thing to do when you feel that is, learn from your mistake, move on, make the next thing better, but it's something that stays in the back of your mind, is this idea that, it could have been something different. You don't want to become somebody who sits there dwelling on old projects years later, and it was disappointing. I think we can leave it at that.
We wanted a part at the end where Jim Jam raps. I thought that'd be cool. Something like, I'm the one, listen to my lyrics, son. Made a movie with your girl, call me Jim Jam Erickson. Something like that.
Gary came to me with this big idea. I said, you know what? Screw the studio system. Fuck Hollywood.
We're not Hollywood filmmakers, we're downtown filmmakers. I thought it was brilliant. So we decided we're gonna go straight to the money men. And we're going to tell them we've got this script, it's ready to shoot, all we need is the money to start. The banks didn't think we were downtown filmmakers. Turns out they don't quite respond well to independent artists trying to blaze their own trail. They said no.
We were on the verge of giving up. No one wanted our scripts.
But then we realized there's one person we hadn't asked.
People who think crypto's a scam, man, fuck you. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I live on the computer, all right? Bought that one, already own this one. Raising the rent on this one, lowering the rent on that one, just to give them a false sense of security, and then I'm jacking it up. This is where I give back, right? This is where I'm giving back all my financial knowledge. My course is unique, is you don't need anything. All you need is your brain, your moneymaker right up here. Once you get in this Discord, $6,000 for the invite. We will hook you up to every piece of financial information streaming from the internet all at once, downloaded directly into your brain. All this, and you can be making cents on the minute. Mr. President, yes, I'm glad you like the new house. Well, I got Bitcoin, Monero, Litecoin, Dumpcoin, Shitcoin, quarters. When I come here, it's peace, zen. This is my calming place. Clown coin, bone coin, blood coin, coin. It's always good coming home to a friendly face.
A lot of people thought that I only gave money to this movie because I was friends with Gary and David, but, you know, I'll break bread with friends, but here's the truth, all right? I didn't get involved until they gave me a solid business opportunity. And when I saw the numbers, I looked it over and I saw ka-ching, all right? And once that green Hollywood money was coming in, I mean, I could make a lot of stuff happen. So we just got to get that straight, all right? I was in it for the profit.
Man, Colin was fucking jazzed about this script. He was over the moon about how much money we could possibly make. I mean, that doesn't matter to me, but like, that got him on board.
So I told them, give me a budget, you know, I'll give you some money, come back to me in a week, show me what you shot, and if it's good, I'll fund the rest of the project. But first I wanted to sit in on a table read, you know, I wanted to make sure they could match my grind.
I'm giving him 5 more minutes.
Okay.
I'm out of here. All right. I got stuff to do later. I'll be waiting around here all day.
I'm fine with. Speak of the devil. He's here. Welcome, David. Thank you for joining us.
Better late than never, but whatever.
So, I guess, where are we thinking?
Yeah, well, I want to go through a couple of the pages. Guys, you cannot smoke in here. No, I sent you this email a couple times. Okay. It's like an insurance thing.
You are...
Oh, David is deep in preparation for his role, so I'm going to be his voice today.
Okay. I mean, is that affecting his lines, or...?
No, I'll say his lines for him.
Okay.
Sure.
That's okay?
Okay. All right, let's get moving. Okay, so I want to start here, page 16. I want to walk through this, and then after that, we'll go back to the beginning. So, okay, here we go. Interior, the vault, hallway. A door opens in the blackness and Jim steps inside. Jim walks through a long hallway lined with rings of light. All right, pause. I'm confused. Is it dark or are there rings of light?
So we're considering having like a red glow emanate out, and eventually that turns into the rings of light. It's like a transition point.
Okay, the lights are going to turn on as he walks by them.
Okay, I think. Okay, let's keep going. As the music swells, Jim begins ripping off his civilian clothes to reveal an unfinished dingus outfit. I don't like that at all.
Why not? What's wrong with that?
Well, I think there should be some way where his clothes are like ripped off him as he's walking down the hallway.
Okay.
Yeah, they could dissolve. Maybe.
It's not bad.
Well, maybe. But either way, they're going to have to be gone by the time it gets to the security check.
Well, maybe the clothes get pulled off by some sort of computer.
Okay.
Or they like magically rip, almost like they're melting.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Okay. So then he reaches the end of the hallway where there's a metal door.
Oh, no, it should be a waterfall. You get like a wall of water.
Oh, okay. But so where does David think the waterfall's coming from?
David, just answer by yourself.
It'll be like a big shower head almost, and it's gonna make this perfect ring around the dingus costume.
Okay, got it. So I get the whole security part because it's a vault, but how exactly do we justify it with a waterfall?
Because it's more mysterious. It's like an underground cave or something.
Okay. I'm not totally sold.
We can't do lasers, David. That's stupid. It's gonna be a big ring of water, and it's turned on or off by this giant red button. It's like an emergency shut-off valve.
Okay. What does David think of the idea?
I like that very much.
Is that what you said or what David said?
No, that's what I said.
Okay, so how do I know when you're speaking for you or speaking for David?
Look, the way that I see this is David doesn't like the idea at all, but you do, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Gary.
Okay, perfect. Fantastic. Thank you, David.
But no, I mean, I was the one saying it, but he said it also.
Okay, all right. Stop. Okay, there's no water. We're inside of a vault, okay? People don't keep water inside vaults, secure areas, okay? So no water in the vault, please. But, all right, we have to move on, okay? There is a lot of pages to get through.
To be fair, water's expensive, but could we get like different coffee? This
Gary, nobody ordered coffee.
It took 12 hours. 12 hours. But eventually we got through all 80 pages.
Hello. Remember me? John the Squeezy, host of the show. With a table read under the belt, it finally came time to film California.wav Part 2.
Jam Erickson. Jim Jam Erickson. You're a dingus, Jim Jam Erickson. 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 You're a dingus, Jim Jam Erickson. Jim Jam Erickson. Jim Jam Erickson.
Yellow? Mr. Erickson, you still owe Merger another movie.
Joshua?
No, someone far worse.
David. I told your father that I was done. Out. Finished. Dusted. I'm kaput.
I'm not my father.
There's nothing you can say that would get me back in the game.
You know, Jim, a governor's pardon can be taken away just as easily as it is given. All it would take is one small donation to the Democratic Party.
You wouldn't do that, you bastard.
I have before and I will again, unless you put on your little top hat and your little tap shoes and dance for me one more time.
You fucking animals!
Do we have an accord?
No! I sold that car years ago, but
but I'll make your damn movie.
That's a good dingus. I'm on my way to LA now. Talk soon.
He called me too. Fuckers! Looks like we're doing this again, Jim. One more time.
Wow. What can you say? It seems like the movie was cooking at last, and we were in for another serving of that famous Jim Jam original recipe. Put some more of that on my plate, please. However, there was more than laughs cooking on set. There was also trouble, with a side of disappointment and strife for dessert.
We really liked what we were getting, but that first day was slow going. I still don't know what Gary was on about throughout it.
Day one was pretty rough. There were a lot of tweaks that needed to happen. Namely, the script that David delivered just was completely devoid of personality. So I decided to do a little rewrite, and I feel like I brought back a lot of that old school Jim Jam personality that we had been chasing the entire time.
I wasn't there the first day, but after David and Gary wrapped, they both called me and they said there were some serious problems. So I had to go check it out. I mean, I had to protect myself. I had to protect my investment.
We decided that the second day should be more freewheeling and experimental and loose. We thought that might get us back into that collaborative mindset and framework that we had on the original film. It did not work.
So, you know, I'm sitting there, I did the rewrites, I throw in a couple of coughs here, I do a little ditty there, and then on day two, David pulls me aside while I'm getting my makeup done.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Gary's done with wardrobe.
Let's do it.
I mean, I think it's gonna make money.
Okay, well then I don't see what.
Gary, we'll need to talk to you outside.
Oh, okay, sure.
Dude, look at this. Pages unknown. I don't even know what we're doing today, dude. Antonio, what are we doing today, dude?
Oh my god, the call sheet?
Yeah.
Look at that, 15 hours, only 60 bucks. Like, what the heck?
You're getting
So, what did you want? I want you to stop changing the fucking script.
Yeah, but I'm just adding a couple jokes here and there.
We wrote a script and it's funny. Stop changing the fucking lines.
do you want it to be funny or not?
You're turning it into Gary Cunningham the movie. It's supposed to be California.wav.
It's Gary Cunningham the movie because I was the one who got it off the ground. They saw me perform my shtick.
How about instead of doing your shtick,
oh my God,
you do your fucking job?
My job is to be funny.
I can tell you're not taking this seriously.
I absolutely am. That's why I'm trying to make it better. Do you want me to stop? You want to make a shit product?
I want you to make the movie we fucking agreed to make.
You're just a fucking moron. You don't even know what's good for you.
Don't you toss off? How about that, huh?
Fuck you.
We decided to pause the production for 3 days, just try to get it back on track.
We sent the crew home. We still paid them. They have a contract, obviously. We told them, give us some time to get it together, I guess. Then we went to Colin and we gave him the bad news.
That was a problem. I mean, I hadn't been totally transparent about my financial situation. So I borrowed a lot of money for this crypto business startup, and the banks aren't super big on crypto yet. So I had to get creative with the financing and find an alternate option. They said they were gonna take my kneecaps. And I said, guys, okay, hold on, pause. Keep the kneecaps. I'll take the rest of your money. I'll put it in the movie, and then when it goes big, I'll let you keep all the profits, and then I keep my kneecaps. And they said, okay. I mean, we had a deal. Yeah, so the collapse of the movie was pretty bad for me. Which is why I'm excited to tell you about my next venture, Loopy Lizards. This is my new NFT project, all right? These are the loopiest fucking lizards you're ever gonna see. Okay, my team, it's all Web4, NFT, HTTP, it's got everything in there. And this is the next generation of crypto for the next generation of millionaires. So all you have to do, and this is new tech, you just have to find me and give me $100 cash. You don't need crypto or anything, and I'll email you one or whatever, and then you can buy one, and then your mom can buy one, and then I can keep my toes.
And just like that, production came to a sudden end, leaving millions of California.wav fans waiting, mouths agape, for a sequel that would never come. Like baby birds, waiting for a mother that, for medical reasons, cannot regurgitate.
After production ended, it was oddly unceremonious. We just went back to the lives that we had. I actually began to prepare my MoMA debut, The Unseen Self, E.
Getting back in the swing of comedy was amazing. It was like riding a bicycle, except I had a new edge, all new material, and to be honest, I got a pretty big laugh when I saw the news.
David, the man who had graced canvases, had fallen from grace when it was revealed that he had been plagiarizing artwork from his assistant. Turns out his real masterpiece was fooling the gallery for so long.
I've always been very open about the fact that my work is collaborative in nature. On the advice of mine and Jeff Koons' attorneys, I would simply point out that other people perhaps were not listening when I said that.
Yeah, I basically did everything. He would come into the studio like once a month and he'd just say, "Oh, looks good." The only skill that this guy has is writing a press release.
Unfortunately, the art world was very unforgiving. I found myself shunned by the very community that had shown me so much warmth not a year prior.
I was supposed to be getting paid for this, by the way. I should have been making commission, but I mean, I don't even know where he was spending all of this money, probably on his shitty tattoos. But it's not worth going after it anymore. I'm fine now. I'm good. Actually, I have my first gallery opening. It's called Goddesses of the Grasses, It's opening next week, and my assistants are getting that ready right now.
As David's star fell, Gary's went supernova.
So, like, I really can't say shit like that anymore. And I don't get it. It's the stupid fucking liberals, but they're losing. They haven't won shit in so long. I just... What?
Do the dingus, Jim Chan.
Dingus. Get the fuck out of here! Get him out of here! I don't want him around! This dude's a fucking idiot! I earned my right to be here! You can't talk to me like that! I earned this! Get him the fuck out of here! Don't you ever tell me to do that again! Look right here, everybody! This guy is the first of his fucking kind! Fucking animal! That was a low moment for me.
But not the lowest. The video was posted online where it quickly went viral. The outburst generated discourse, as did Gary's subsequent apology.
Okay. Hey guys. It's been a second, but I wanted to talk to you about recent events that have occurred. Yes, I have seen the viral video, and I am deeply ashamed of my actions. As a comedian, my audience is incredibly valuable to me, and I will always appreciate the time of day that you have given me.
It was clear that I had stepped into something that I could not control. The jobs dried up. Comedy clubs didn't want me anymore. They said I was a liability. I had hoped maybe I could lay low for a while, then do like a big comeback tour or something. I felt like I couldn't write jokes. Everything I tried was played out. I tried going to open mics and just fucking bombed. I didn't have anyone to bounce my material off. I felt really alone.
Gary searched far and wide for a place where a washed-up comedian who had failed at everything he had tried would be taken seriously. And he found it in podcasts.
So I love getting into this with every comedian that I talk to. What you do is actually so brave.
And the microchips that they're using there are the ones being put in the vaccine, and they're hoping to start turning people Chinese.
So Gary, you told me over email that you were a big firearms fan and collector. Tell me, what are your first thoughts?
Oh yeah, I mean, honestly, it's really easy to draw.
Well, let's just be safe.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm really glad you guys could have me on the show today.
So, Gary, how does it feel to just be really fucking stupid?
But I really wish I just had like a girlfriend or a wife, someone like you. You know, I imagine your husband's incredibly grateful for all the wifely duties that you do here.
And imagine somebody actually loving you. You could never.
Okay, this show was probably a mistake. Stunning, beautiful. I can't imagine anyone ever wanting to let you go.
So when do the accusations start coming out? Do we think it's a Me Too or a pedophile situation?
Oh, I think we all know the answer to that.
Don't ever do what I'm doing.
Okay, yeah. So we've got some nervous laughs from behind camera.
Yeah, don't.
What the fuck are you doing? Give me the.
No. I'm fucking transphobe.
I'm homophobe.
Sexist.
And xenophobe. Misogynist.
Racist.
Biphobic.
Ableist.
Just disgusting piece of man. Phobic. Oh, I can smell you. Oh my god. Oh, thank God. Man down, finally.
Gary's podcasting career continued until one day when he appeared on a show that would change everything.
Boy, I got my mind on cake.
Welcome back to the Colin Stevens Money Moves podcast, brought to you as always by our friends at bookiezone.co.su, Eastern Europe's premier political betting website, and by betclub.yg, your one-stop shop for betting on grade school sports. With me today, we have longtime friend, entertainer, comedian, and all-around great guy, Gary Cunningham. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Colin, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
So, before we get into the business of entertainment, not a lot of people might know this, but me and you, we made a movie together.
Yeah, we did. Oh, God, California.wav. That was, what, 10 years ago? Almost 10 years ago?
Exactly 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you think back on that time, how do you feel?
Oh, I mean, it was a lot of fun. I mean, like, fuck, we made a movie. We were just kids dicking around, but, like, we made a goddamn movie. You know, just hanging out, goofing off, having a good time. Maybe sometimes I wish we could go back to it. Totally different vibe than it is nowadays. But, doing silly shit with friends, hanging out, having a good time. Sometimes I wish I could go back. It really meant a lot to me, you know?
All right, and before we get into that anymore, we have to go back to our friends, gamblingman.co.dd, for a quick word from our sponsor.
I saw Gary on Colin's podcast and had my producer reach out. It seemed to me that California.wav was the perfect story for an episode of Legends of Laughter. We set it up, and I suppose we've come full circle now. We sure have, but we have one last surprise for the television audience at home. Tonight, on Legends of Laughter, David and Gary will be reuniting right here in our studio.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
No, I know, Gary, but the audience out there wants to see it happen.
No, I'm absolutely not. No, let's move on.
Isn't that a great ending to the story of California.wav? Doesn't it feel like it's what we've been building up to this whole time? You gotta give them a fitting send-off.
Fuck off!
Hello, Gary.
John?
No, that's actually my ghostwriter's name. My name is God.
What?
Don't you see, Gary, I brought you out here to teach you something important.
So what? There's no TV special?
Why would anybody put together a TV special about a YouTube video with 200 views?
More like 300 views.
The concept is absurd.
Well, so all of this is just my imagination.
It's real to me. And to you. And David is getting his own equally vivid and much more expensive looking version that we're not going to see today. But that is just as real to him. The truth is, you're a lot better together than you are apart. Spending your life with other people, that's the whole point of being human. I made life on Earth short to get you to realize that, but most people don't, because by the time they do, it's too late. It's one of my trademark pranks.
So what, I'm not famous?
No. Gary, California.wav has only ever really mattered to, like, 4 people? The good news is that it only has to matter to 4 people. It doesn't have to be anything more than what it is.
I don't think I understand.
I'll let you stew on it. I have to go anyway. I have a whole universe to run. Plus, it's the MLB playoffs. We'll see if you get it in the inevitable 25th anniversary documentary.
He talked to me too. You want to do this again? You know, one more time?
Favorite songs use the same chords in different order, so you're thinking that I'm playing something different. And all my favorite songs use the same chords. Part of life is tricking people that you're really good at something. And lately I've been scared to go to work. There ain't nothing that's more dangerous than a man losing control. You try to tell him that his job is not his work, that being a great dad is cooler than running a hedge fund. Here's the sound of your good buddy fucking up. Said it's hard to be productive with that poison in your gut. You gotta call him once a week to say what's up. 'Cause there ain't nothing more important than you're checking up on buds. I said there's nothing more important than you're checking up on buds. 'Cause there ain't nothing more important than you're checking up on buds. I said there's nothing more important than you're checking up on buds. 'Cause there ain't